All right, hello everybody, and welcome to your Thursday lighting critique. We're talking all things Unreal today. No, that's just a couple Unreal projects we've got going on. So we'll start up here with Aaron's. We've got Aaron. Talk us through what this fly through is. Talk us through what you got going.
I was just trying to get my flickering lights going,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a way of showing that without doing some kind of movement.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a render. This is me moving my viewport camera with my mouse through the scene. I'm learning. I sat down and learned tracks yesterday, because you actually they have a camera track system, like you would physically in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley and I started learning that yesterday. It leads into wanting to do very crazy camera moves. So after learning and doing a crazy camera move that I hated, I'm going to sit down tonight and gut it out and just do nice, simple truck shots and dolly shots of this room. But this is my flickering light added.
Cool.
It is what I expected it to be. So there are baked lights that stay the same and keep the shadows, and then you just add in very inexpensive movable lights that don't cast shadow, because what will happen is if you add movable on top of stationary lights, you get, on top of static lights, you get sharp shadows on top of soft shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So the flicker does not produce any kind of shadow whatsoever. And I couldn't figure out how to randomize the flicker texture. So I made 3 different flicker textures and just put them in sporadic spots so that it felt uneven. My first pass felt like you could see the room pulsing at the same, it was like a disco. Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, because I'm guessing these are all the same flame element that scale to meet the the size of the thing, and so because the flames of this one look like they're the same size as the relative size as, or it basically it looks like you just took this thing and scaled it down and then.
Whatever artist.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying they already said that.
Yeah.
But it's
yeah, that's what it was. I think I should probably go in and rotate some of them, because I think if you were to pause, I think some of them actually are just identical by the sheer fact that they are on the same loop.
Yeah, the two on the left seem to be on the same loop, and maybe it's just the angle. Maybe they're all on the same loop, but the two on the left, maybe they're all just in the same thing.
Yeah, they need to be rotated for sure.
Yeah. It's all and yeah, that's gonna cause anytime there's parity in that, your brain kind of goes, okay, something weird is going on here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how fire works. Overall, like I said, given this game environment, given this real time, this is all very, very cool stuff. If I was as a non-expert gamer, I would be excited to walk around in this space and explore it a little bit. I think this would be cool. The couple of the biggest ones for me are just the shadow being cast through this. That.
Oh yeah.
That kind of breaks. That breaks a lot. That breaks it for me a little bit. I like seeing this rim light on that. I like that you worked on that. That looks really cool. Maybe a little bit more value in the fill on her, just because I could see a little bit of value here in the wall and some other areas. But I love that we're seeing a little bit of that rim. The specularity on some of this stuff is really nice. I wish, and again, this is not you, but this is just I wish that these walls weren't quite so perfect. Perfect edge,
yeah.
Perfect edge there and perfect edge there, and it's just I could I feel like if I touched those walls, there'd be razor edges, I would really, really hurt myself. But the other thing I was thinking was that at the end here there is now a different lighting. There's exterior light coming in. I think it's cool.
So that's going to be room 2. I really want to nail down room 1 just for time. So what's happening is when I do this on my demo, it's going to fade out before you even see that stuff. I am going to do that third one, or that second and third one. I just want to try to get one room so I can put that on I have some things happening that I need specifically to show something.
Sure.
In a certain time. So I'm just trying to produce that, and then once I move on with this one, I will go to the second room and the third room, and then eventually it's going to be this hallway of this cathedral
Mhm.
thing.
Okay.
I think
Well
if
then,
you
yeah. I mean, I'll
Unreal Sun Temple, that's what it is.
Unreal Sun Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Google is so aggressive. I looked up a shrimp pasta recipe a month ago. Yeah, 23 days ago.
You're gonna have shrimp
And
and
you're
pasta,
gonna
man,
eat.
for-
I was like, I just wanted to make myself a little something different. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. Okay.
So then, yeah, it like opens up into this.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean the biggest thing about what I was gonna say with the feedback was just like you've got such a distinct voice of the color and of the light in this space that once we could hear the exterior light just felt neutral. Like so, I would say that you've set the bar high with an expressive, colorful, like powerful image in this first room that like it's just like living up to that in the future spaces a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking before the recording. Like it is hard downloading these scenes because they come lit.
Yeah.
Quote lit, right? And so your natural instinct is to want to do what they've already done, and it's like, no, I got to strip everything out.
Yeah.
And I have to do it myself, and I have to kind of have my own voice in the space, right? Because you're trying to differentiate yourself between
I got to tell you
thousands of people that have downloaded this.
Yeah, and if you're like so we have at Adobe we have a bunch of substance tutorials, and this guy Wes, who's great, has released some tutorials, and I just watched somebody who had a reel up, and it was the model that he gave them to download to start on the project, and all it was they literally did a turntable of his model and then the final version with his shaders on it that he showed how to do in his tutorial, and I was like, this is not impressive. It's like you literally did a turntable of somebody else's model. Like you just showed that you can do a turntable. Like that's not great. So
wow,
yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
yeah, so having yeah, so like knowing that whenever you're using this stuff to apply for jobs, they've seen this before. So showcasing it in a different way is so important, and showing a unique voice and all that stuff. But to get back to this particular project and this particular room, I think it's looking good. My biggest thing is the light penetrating through this guy. Is anybody else seeing anything? Because we could perfect this, but I want you to move on to the next one once this is good. I think it's in a really good spot. I can't really think of that. Oh, and maybe like getting a little bit more fill value in here in the beginning. But other than that, I think it's looking good. Anybody else have any thoughts or areas to help Aaron out? I think the lens flares are looking kind of cool too.
Yeah, I killed those by like 75%. So
It's, you know what? It's almost like with the lens flares, I would just keep, it's this crossing of them that's like, it's almost like I want it to just be like one. Whoa, that's aggressive. I almost want it to just be like one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm fine if that one has more in it. It's the dual angle of it that's messing with me.
I might just animate because it's just a post-process thing. Like I don't get to choose. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
So I'll look into it, and I might just turn them off by that point. But yeah,
That's fair.
because I agree, it's confusing.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
All right, yeah, no problem, man. Any other thoughts on this one before we hop into the stills? Yeah, let's see how. Actually, let me go back. So, if they have any screenshots from that specific room. Yeah, yours looks better than this. Yours looks a lot better than
Yeah,
this.
thanks. I mean, and that's like I said, that's the huge problem, right? Is you get this and you look at that, and your first instinct is to go, okay, do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, seeming cool. Yeah,
you can't-
especially like in an interior space like this, like where you don't, like a modern space, you have the options of being like, oh, let's say that there are fluorescent lights, so let's say that this thing is a glowing LED. Like in old sets, you're like, this is fire. That's all they had. Therefore, that's what I do. And fire kind of looks this one way. So. Yeah, same deal with these
All right,
stills.
cool.
Stills
Yeah,
look
thanks.
good.
I
Yeah.
won't monopolize the
you're
conversation
good.
anymore.
Well, we'll let you monopolize for another minute because you have another shot here.
Okay.
We got you on. We got you on the line here, so we'll keep going. Yeah. So with this one, are you planning on? I guess the other thing like with your final presentation, are you doing them as stills? Are you doing them as fly-throughs? Because like one thing that I definitely think would help this would be a little bit of diffusion over the top, but I don't know if you're even able to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure I could add some diffusion on this one. This one I'm going to limit to a still, even though I was kind of told, like, get multiple angles, but I don't think this set really lends itself to multiple angles.
Yeah.
The artist really just put this one store in this set. Everything else, nothing else really has windows. Like I said, I'm just trying to get a couple things out there to be like, hey, I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
If it leads to, it probably won't lead to a position, but I at least want to show that I'm trying. So,
yeah. I mean, that's a pretty big defeatist attitude. I would.
No.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but like, there was some things that happened behind the scenes where it was a bit faster than I intended to want to show something, but. Yeah. I'm kind of Hail Marying trying to get back to the United States. So
yeah. Well,
I think your lights in the store look better.
Yeah, thanks. I turned down that one by that crate to make it a little darker, and I upped the AO on this one.
Yeah.
A bit. So
this is cool.
Yeah, it looks more like they're shining through the words or characters on the window instead of just like blowing out. Because like when you were first showing it, it's kind of blown out. So this looks better.
Yeah. This ground in the street looks really nice. I was looking at this and I'm wondering if, because not so much this one, but this like dark splotch is, I don't know what that is, basically. Like I don't know if that's shadow or, so I'm wondering if, and I was like, but if we eliminate that, then we'll just have like this kind of larger space of a light patch. And so I was almost wondering if maybe it was possible to extend this shadow just a touch, like to extend this shadow out a little bit, so there's just like a little bit more shadow on the street. If that's, but that might pull the rug out and create like a bad domino effect of things.
I mean, maybe I'll do it in Photoshop or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature to be like, no, I can't do that because that's not my job.
You sound. I didn't mean to laugh, but you just sound so defeated by this scene.
I think because with any first run at something, it's all the problems that it presented. It's just like, okay, well, I learned. I learned what to look for the next time I download an asset.
Yeah, it's just a great learning experience. But yeah, that's a fair point. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much more for this one. Just wondering. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Is the moonlight on the street a little too bright? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's go back.
Or maybe just if you can. I don't know if you want to mess with the specularity, because I might throw the specularity on the whole street off, but. Maybe, I don't know, change the brightness of the moonlight or change the specularity of the moon itself. I'm not sure. It just kind of looks a little too bright.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look into that because I don't like the lights on the roof are not being done by the overall directional light. So.
Oh, okay. Then you might be able to just in the you know how I told you about the little arrow settings? There's a setting in there where you can change the specularity power or strength of the lighting.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, see, that looks better.
I just darkened and kind of cooled it off a little bit, too.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead.
Yeah, you could even just change the color of the skylight, up to you. But
yeah, it
just looks a little too, like spotlighty sort of street light.
Yeah, and then, and even just by increasing the saturation on the light itself, you can, that will actually kind of dim it out. Let's go on that. Just that little light there. Yeah, I think even just doing that would be good. Because that's again brightening up the foreground, shifting a little bit of darkness to the background there, and just kind of cooling it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
But yeah, no, sorry. Like, I don't mean to sound defeatist. It's just that like I'm very much a nuke person, and so whenever there's like a small issue where it's like, oh, let's darken the background. I'm like,
yeah, it's really I this is where I would struggle with this stuff is like because I am a firm believer that the rendering process is just one step in the creation of the image. Like there's as much like there's lighting and then there like it's getting your render out the door, but like that's not the final image at all. That's just the negative, right? And then it's like and then you take it into the post processing, which really helps define the look a lot. So yeah, so like in a lot of these it's like, yeah, no, we just can't do any of that stuff, and you're like, oh, well, that changes the look of it entirely. That stinks. So yeah. So okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, buddy. All right, Alfredo. I do not. Okay, so Alfredo, we will come right back to yours towards the end, just because I do want to get those that are still here. Ashley, in the same household as Aaron. How are you doing? This is looking good. I think actually let's talk through. If you were able to get that fire turned off up there, like why don't you go ahead and talk through a little bit of what you've been up to?
Yeah, so I did find a way to turn that flame off
Mhm.
on the screen left side. I blocked some of that light coming into that screen right side that was there on the ground. I got rid of that hot spot that was there on her leg,
Mhm.
and I tightened up those rims.
Mm-hmm.
I took some of that darkness off that was on the back of her that was hitting really strong right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for this iteration, those are the changes that I made.
Great. The dark floor on the screen right side looks great too. I think that really really helps and like draws my interest to that carving on the wall. That looks great. There is a lot more. There's a lot of red haze warmth in the middle here, and I think it's great. I almost want to keep like I like this over here, and I like these guys existing here. I almost want to keep them behind that thing that she's standing in front of. I don't know what to call that. Just because it's kind of starting to overpower her a little bit, and it's starting to wash her out. Just a touch. And the other thought that I had was that her, like, we've got the light coming down, it's hitting her top. We probably want to cut it off on her somewhere in this region, because now that we're getting down into her feet, it really looks like her feet are being hit by the sun. And then once the feet get hit by the sun, then you expect to see the shadow being cast in the ground. And we're not getting that. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there mentally when we're looking at this like bright front without seeing that same light falling onto the ground a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, specularity and stuff. Still love the color over there. This is nice over here. Just kind of suggesting more space over there. What do you guys think about this? I'll open it up to the floor.
I'm not sure, would the flames that are in the sunlit areas look that bright against sunlight?
I think so. I think so.
I don't know. I guess I would need to like look up shots of fire during the day.
Yeah.
But I think you'd see the red, but I don't know if it'd be putting out that much glow with relation to how bright the sun is.
It's interesting because we've got this line coming down here, which would suggest that they're mostly in the shadow, but then I see the light kind of coming here and around them. So I guess they are in the sun, aren't they? I think it's more about what's behind them than whether or not they're actually in the sun, but yeah. And a lot of it too is like the glow that they're generating. I still think that pulling that back a little bit and then kind of isolating it back behind here would be good. Because what is helpful, and because what that can do is that can provide some nice haze that decreases the contrast back behind her, and then if we increase the contrast on her, saturation, then that can draw our attention more to her. Any other thoughts on this? Ashley, how you feeling about it?
I feel pretty especially for being like the first Unreal project.
Yes, it's really.
It also proved to be, it also caused a lot of issues. Like I got a lot of errors that I had to work through and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. So.
And then also watch out for this hard line on her back. I think that's like a scarf or part of the garment, but it's just kind of visually reading as a straight vertical line.
Yeah, that's her scarf.
Got it.
Aaron had asked the same thing, and I was like, "That's a scarf."
Yeah.
I almost wonder if just changing its color to some kind of like very like a blue or like just something, because when I was staring at it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's an alpha issue." How do you have an alpha issue?
Because there's also like some sort of like strap coming around her shoulder, and we're not getting that same effect there. It's really, I agree. I think it's a color difference between that and the rest of the wardrobe. Cool. Let me go ahead and actually, just so I can keep things organized and I don't miss anybody. Let me go ahead and close these from Aaron, and I'll go ahead and close this one from Ashley. Right, and then we will head on over to Justin's. All right, Justin. This is this is looking good. Sorry. I think only question, do you guys feel like the cabin is empty on that lower level? Like, should we put some stuff in there? Let me put this too. And I think we could possibly push the brights a little brighter. Anybody have any thoughts on the look?
If it's just a still, you can easily just probably pop in some like silhouetted, clip art people.
Just I wouldn't do something as identifiable as people. I think just having some sort of like shapes, like it's a cabinet or a couch or something in there. But you're right. Yeah, it's just like, we're seeing the same wood that's outside, inside, and we're just seeing it all the way down and around the bottom. It's like, just and then like through the windows and stuff. So I think those are my only two notes. Justin, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, pretty good. I think the door being open is actually kind of weird too. Just like it's in the winter,
dude, it's cold outside.
Close the door.
We're not heating the whole damn neighborhood. That's right. If you want to, just rotate it shut. That'd be fair too.
Hey, Justin, that chimney's a little black. Can you put some speck on it or something? It's like the roof is so nice and white and shiny, and then it's like a black.
Totally, that's a great call.
It looks like a boot, like something's like trying to.
No, it has nothing.
Yeah.
I don't mind the cabin being empty like so much, but the mountain on the right and the back.
Oh yes.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's metallic-y looking. You're right. Great call, Diana. That I would just take down the specularity on, especially. Yes, just take down the specularity, especially on both of them. Actually, I was gonna say the specularity on the snow, and then I was gonna think especially on the mountain. But no, they both wouldn't have that much spec on.
So less spec on the mountain and more spec on the chimney. There you go.
There you go. Just take it from the mountain onto the chimney.
Reverse it.
Yeah. And if you could, in the spec on the chimney, if like you could make it look like, put like a brick pattern in there to kind of break that up, that'd be cool. But yeah, but you've got all the tough stuff down. Like, again, the color of the snow, the warm to cool transition without it going gray, some value variation, the depth of field looks great, the glow of the sun looks great, that kind of haze in the background looks great. It's just these last few things. Really strong
Cool.
stuff.
Sounds
man.
good.
Yeah. All right. So now we will. And now next up we have Kat. So Kat, we've got a couple different scenes here from you. We'll start with the combination of three of our assets from the asset library: the spooky house, Sir Desmus Rotundus, and our newest, latest and greatest, the Black Cat. Oh, go ahead.
I said I did this in like 6 hours yesterday because I needed a break from Unreal, so I hopped back in the blender.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I would love to read the characters a little bit more, especially because they're not. Especially I was like you got this cat, man, let's use it. I think that just having some more fill in there and just like really kind of.
I'm planning to add like jack-o'-lanterns and candles to kind of up the Halloween vibes. So those are gonna pop off some extra light and fill light because I don't necessarily want a lot of light coming from the front. So I'm gonna use the candles and the pumpkins and stuff to kind of provide fill light where I need it.
Got it.
That's my plan anyway.
Got it. Yeah, but like you kind of pocket this down here. You create more bounce light up on them. The other thing is like the light source for this, is that the lamp?
No, so I was trying to the house asset's a little wonky with I was trying to make the door look like it's glass and have it look like it's coming out from the door, and I couldn't pull it off as well as the window because then it just looked like a big yellow thing behind the back. I made the material glass and it just didn't work right. So it's supposed to be like a lantern, like a porch light coming down. I just need to make it look more like a porch light. So I guess I need to have the light hit the house a bit more so it looks like it's part of the house.
Yeah. A lot of people during this challenge use the house is like a glowing illuminating thing.
Right.
It's funny. I guess that's because that's what the reference art was. I didn't post the reference art in here.
Right.
But yeah, that's something else that you can consider too, because like you've already got it up here to just make that kind of glowing and wrapping around them. It really helps get that rim light in place, and then can make for some really cool effects. And then, but yeah, I think positioning them so they're more side by side instead of one in front of the other will really help. And yeah, that's and then don't turn like this light would cast more stuff on the ground in here, and if that's not and if that's not where we want to go, if that's like going to be more trouble, then I would just turn that off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking I could push that light a little bit closer to the house to help maybe put more backlight on the character.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
find another way to light up the cat and the tree.
The other thing that you could do is you could just grab the geometry that's just like this, keep this street lamp off, and then just like duplicate that, move that over here, and attach it to the house, and then have that on. Just because, like, because this doesn't feel like a light that would be very close to a house. This feels like a light that's close to the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I just need to figure out how to light that tree if I want to keep it there, because I kind of like the cat in the tree.
Oh, I didn't even see the cat in the tree.
There's a little kitty in the tree.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, that makes me curious as to how many more there are floating around in there.
There's 3 cats.
Son of a. So there's another one up there. God. Damn, these creepy guys. All right, sorry. These creepy cats are they're coming. Maybe I'll take them out. I got to take them out of the marketplace. They're going to haunt me. This isn't great.
She said the cats have 3 poses, so I wanted to use all 3 poses.
Oh, right. I do think, like, of the 3, this one actually is going, working the most successfly for me. In terms, because I think that, like, having the main character here, but then also it's like his little like this one would also need a little bit more light here, but like having the little cat sidekick buddy just like essentially up on his shoulder, just like hanging out up there, like, dude, all right.
So yeah, I know I need to work on like some more fill lights and stuff.
But the reason why I really think this is successful is that I love that we're starting to really define the shape of the cat without, like, you see the leg, the kind of the shape of the chest, the shape of the head, the ears, and like a little hint of the eyes, without really, like, without giving away the farm. Like, I know that is a creepy cat, without having to like hit it frontally with a spotlight or anything. It's really doing a good job of defining its shape. And it's cool, and it's like, you know, the kind of the warmth over the cool sunlight back behind it. It's a good use of like minimal lighting on a character.
Right.
So
well, thanks.
Yeah, good job. All right, let's hop over into your other one. Unless anybody else has any thoughts.
I was just gonna say, staging wise and character wise, does it make sense if the cats are just slightly smaller, because they feel like if the bat is anthropomorphized, right, like human,
Mhm.
the cats just feel really big. But then, do
Yeah,
it's not
I might need to shrink 'em a
noticeable?
little bit.
I don't know. You know, there's play around with it, see what you can. See
Yeah.
what feels good. That's
Okay,
all.
cool.
Sorry.
Cool.
That's
No,
cool.
you're
No,
good.
you're fine. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like the one in the tree, like he's too big compared to the tree, I think. So I'm gonna mess around with it some more. And I've already downloaded a bunch of pumpkins and cauldrons and candles, so there's gonna be little lanterns and stuff all around the set too.
Cool.
So
Yeah. This is going to be a fun one, I think. All right, now let's get our knights in the bed. So what is I just got it. Man, the mirror gives a really strange read to the room. It's all like
yeah, I can move it.
No, it's just funny because this, I mean, obviously because of this camera angle, it felt like the room was actually up to here, and then there was some kind of ceiling with a hole cut out of it. And now I'm seeing it now.
Okay.
So looking at
Yeah.
yeah. So looking at
This scene is
the
just giving me nightmares.
so looking at your reference of the hotel room
Right.
and seeing some of these, I think like even in this one where the color is pretty neutral, but like this one down here, the color plays such a large role, and
Right.
we're just not seeing it yet. And so I would really like for your next iteration to really explore the color of the space, and understand that like all of these have like these light sources are, whether they're warm or blue or purple or green, they're all like it's an expressive light tone, and
Right.
I think we can push that a little bit more because right now, oh god.
I was gonna say, so how would you do that? Should I make it look like there's more windows, so there's like maybe different colored lights coming through the windows, or just have like a purple light coming through the main window that you see?
I think the first thing that you want to do is identify the feeling that you're trying to get, and if you're trying to
Right,
do like
yeah, that's useful.
so like this is much more cozy,
Right.
in the warmth, and on these two here, than this one, which feels a little bit like, I mean, obviously standing versus laying down, like he's more agitated, the scene is more agitated. Do you want that discomfort? This construction came back. Or do you want do you want them to feel comfortable in the space? So that's the first thing.
I get, and this is where I'm having a hard time finding reference, is the way I kind of was thinking of it, because of like how the song kind of goes from like, it always has this sense of like mystery, and then it goes dark, because at the end, you know, there's the whole where he's seeing things, stabbing beasts, because it's a drug trip basically.
Right.
But I wanted to give it kind of more like the way I was describing it was like kind of almost a horror, like right before it goes into horror feel. So it's uncomfortable, like something's not quite right, but you don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for.
Okay.
At some point, I haven't gotten there yet, obviously. But I was trying to find like motel rooms that look like that, which you would think with all the horror movies would be easy. But it's either like too bright, but I don't want it to be really obvious.
Yeah.
So it's like either too bright or black and white, or it's hit the point where there's blood splatter everywhere, and I'm like, no, I need something.
Yeah. What is yeah, there's the, so I was thinking maybe not quite that much green, maybe more magenta, maybe a little bit cooler, but something. What's that? No, that's me. That's my neighbor who did not tell me that they were doing this, and I have a presentation this afternoon, and they're doing something. No, that's me. It makes me angry. It's
How rude.
how rude. Exactly. We're all working from home. No, they so yeah. So I think. What am I trying to do here? Make this brighter too. So I think what I'm trying to do here is to create. I want to create a sense of warmth in the space around the bed, and I also want to darken some of the areas like closer to the foreground. So I want the light to kind of fall off away from the center of this room, because that's all of the light sources are right there, right? So if we could figure out a way to make it darker in the foreground, And then like
I can do that.
yeah, and then either figuring out a way, because like this is all kind of neutral, to like push the warmth around these characters, because then when we punch in here, like it's the same thing. Like right now the characters, and I know these are temp, but they like the characters themselves feel very kind of green, and
Okay.
so and I think that if we isolate all of this stuff right around the camera, or right around these lights that are going to be warmer and brighter, and then pushing all the areas outside of that into
Okay.
darker, cooler, and then depending on how creepy you want to get with it, if you want that to be kind of greenish, then you can do that too. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, because we have in the post-process volume, you can mess with vignetting and stuff too. So I need to tinker. But yeah, that green vibe was what I was thinking originally, kind of that nighttime green sort of,
Yeah.
old-time convenience store vibe.
Right.
Before the monsters come get you.
Right. And it's all about like creating that contrast between the two in brightness and in color as well.
Okay. And then I might make it look, maybe I will bring in some splash of different colors, maybe just to, because I am going to, there will be a shot of the exterior of the motel, so it's going to have the same, the neon lights. So I do, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get that in the room. I just haven't gotten that far yet.
Got it.
But yeah, so.
Sorry, I saw this exclamation point up there. Okay. I do have to go in about 10 minutes or so let's go ahead and hop into our next couple. Don't want to cut anybody short. All right. But those are looking good, Kat. All right, Theo. So I think your key side is looking really good. The wing is getting. I want more detail in the spec, and I want the spec to be a little less. So, because I'm getting some like this shape feels pretty broad. It might just be a matter of decreasing the spec on that just a little bit. I think the background's looking good. So decreasing the spec on the wing, and then another big one for me is I still think there's room to push in some cool light in here, some cool spec in there, just because we're getting coolness in here. Also, the spec in here is starting to look a little bit green. I would shift it more towards the blue color of the background. It might be a little aggressive, but somewhere in that region, that's right. Yeah, just a little bit more on the blue side, but I do want to see a little bit more spec in the wing, and then a little bit up in here. And then again, try and get a little more of that diffusion on the foreground like we were showing the other day. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this? The teeth, I love that you're trying to showcase the teeth. I think it's really cool. They're a little bit too bright, especially this one. It's just like a little bit glowy, so I'd pull that back just a little bit more. I think that's great. All right, next up we have Ubed. So this is looking cool. I think the purple is a little bit too saturated. I think it's too strong of purple. I think that we can actually I'm doing this way. I think we just pull this back a little bit. I think that'll help out a lot. I would double check the reference. I think this feels right in the color scheme. But I would just make sure that purple is lining up to what we have before. And then again, just making sure that we're getting the aerial perspective. When I was looking at it before, it looked like some of the darker values here in the foreground were actually lifted a little bit more than what I'm seeing right in there. So you just want to make sure the blackest blacks are in the foreground, and then they get lifted up as we go back into space a little bit. I also think that our brights can go a little brighter, kind of overall. Because again, if we're trying to get that Luca feel to this, it's pretty like happy, glowy brightness in some of those areas. And I do like that you've kind of created these pockets around the space. I will say this as well. I think that it could be worth it, depending on how you're doing this, if you have the opportunity to add a little area light down there and just bounce in some more bounce light into these like little pockets where the key light is, the warm lights are hitting. And lastly, I think this light right here, I want to see it affect the railings a little bit more. It's kind of stopping abruptly, and it's only affecting right here. Like, I want to kind of see it spill out. I don't know if it would hit too much on this side, but on this side, definitely it would start to hit some stuff. Yeah, anybody else have any thoughts on this one? But yeah, those are the main areas I would kind of focus in on there. And Alfredo, thank you for your patience. So I wanted to pull in your reference here because this is so... so this shot is got, other than the couple light sources, other than like the police lights, the siren, or police lights. It's a pretty monochromatic shot. Like if you kind of take that away, it's pretty, by monochromatic I mean it's just kind of gray. It's like a grayscale. It's a grayscale study, and I wanted to make sure that we're understanding what's happening there so we can replicate that, because that's where the power of this shot is. It's like it's getting these dark values, in some of these areas. I'm really sorry about this noise, guys, but let's go ahead and just make this a little bigger so we can kind of start to see this working. So, just getting an understanding of the dark values again in the foreground and around the base of these buildings, while getting just like a small amount of the detail in there. I think that's gonna tell us a lot, and I think that you still have room to go much darker in these in the base, because right now just looking at this building right here. The top and the bottom are about the same value. We need that darkness around the base. And then the way that these lights are glowing and kind of, like really kind of punchy, I think we can get that same feel in some of these neons over here. And if you want, like, it almost looks like there's light coming out of one of these. There's a lot of light over here on the ground. If we want, we can have the interior of one of these spaces like throwing light out, but we just need to localize that to a much smaller area on the screen. So it's just in there, and then we go back to that kind of dark feel for it. You're getting some nice specular hits on this, and I think that those are going to be the foundation of what we're seeing kind of like in here, right? So it's pretty much allowing everything else around it to go dark so that we can just kind of get those hits. Same thing over there on the screen right side. We got the city extending out a little more. I love the framing that you've got around this guy. It's almost like I want to see a little bit of the glow from the cigarette on the face, maybe? Or maybe a little bit of like the red glow from the car or the headlamp, or just something to get a little more rim on the character, so it's like the focus on him isn't all being on the lit cigarette. Look at these wires here. I would love for the wires to continue back into the space more too. Like back in here. Like the way that these wires really help tell the tale of like the city going back. Like we kind of lose them right here, but like I think we have some more. I think we have more space to see them go back a little bit more. All right, any other thoughts on this one? Great job, man. I think this one's got a lot of potential. I saw this and I was like, man, I would love to like this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, well, thanks for joining in today, everybody. It was great seeing you all. and hearing from you. So let's do it again tomorrow, and I will see you then. We'll probably do it a little bit. Just a heads up, we'll probably do it a little earlier tomorrow too, because I got a lunch meeting I gotta go do. But I'll let you know the exact time in a little bit. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. All right. Happy lighting, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.